Hi, it's Anthony from CarPlayLife.com, and in this video I'll be looking at the Media Max 2.0 10-inch portable CarPlay display from CarPlayLife. This is a standalone wide 10.26-inch IPS portable display that allows both wired and wireless CarPlay and Android Auto in any car. It passes audio out of its internal speaker, or you can choose to cast the audio wirelessly to your FM radio or wired through an aux audio input port. And finally, there is a 4K dash camera that's integrated onto the back of the display. In the box, you get a paper instruction manual, a Pioneer 64GB SD card. There is a 10.26-inch display itself and a 12-volt socket to USB-C power cable. There's a very long 3.5mm aux cable. A rear view camera also comes included, and there is a leather fastening strap to keep all those loose cables tidy. The whole display has a very nice design with a fairly thin casing and thin bezels around the display. Including its base stand, it measures 24 centimeters wide by 11.5 centimeters high and approximately 6 centimeters deep. It has a 10.26-inch IPS ultra-wide display, meaning it fits nicely on the top of your dashboard without obstructing your view too much. And due to its dash camera lens at the back, you'll want to mount this display on the dashboard, which also loop records video footage onto an inserted SD card. There's only one button at the top of the display to power it on and off, with the home and volume buttons available on its on-screen user interface. There is a vertical tilting mount pre-installed onto the bottom of the display, and underneath it there's an adhesive pad to help stick its base onto your dashboard. And should you want a more permanent fixture, there are some screw holes on each corner of the base stand. The rear camera lens has a small amount of tilt adjustment to position the camera in a suitable direction out of your windscreen, while still maintaining a good viewing angle on the front of the display. This IPS display technology allows for good viewing angles with a high level of contrast and screen brightness. Behind the display, there are 4 I/O ports and slots on the back of the display. There is a USB-C port to power the display, an SD card slot to save the dash cam recordings onto. There's an optional GPS accessory port to record location data in the dash cam recordings. And finally, there's an AV input port for the bundled rear view camera. The USB-A port and 3.5mm aux audio ports are located on their own 12-volt to USB-C power cable. Much to my surprise, this display can operate without a power cable connection, as it has a small internal battery. However, this doesn't last too long and is mostly used for detecting and recording parked events rather than running wire-free. With its one cable connection and inline ports, there are no messy USB drives or aux cables sticking from out the side of the display. However, the USB and aux parts of the cable are a little bit too close to the connection on the display and are still on show rather than being further down the cable enough to be fully hidden in a center console or compartment. Other vehicles may vary on this length of cable depending on where you put the display and where your 12-volt socket is. But for me, I wish these inline connections were at least 30 to 50 centimeters further down the cable. Starting up the car will power on the display, and in 11 seconds the display lands on its main menu interface. The first option lets you view its live dash cam and rear view camera views. The following 2 menu options toggles wireless CarPlay and Android Auto, and the 4th menu panel controls Bluetooth audio playback, whilst the 5th and final primary panel displays the time and date. And on tapping this panel, it lets you make any adjustments. Along the bottom, there is a single row of sub-menu options that allow you to adjust and configure the audio source and FM transmission frequency. Next is the Bluetooth settings option. The middle replay option launches the dashcam browser to view past save recordings and photos. The brightness button toggles between 4 screen brightness levels. And finally, the settings option that takes you to a variety of customization options and toggles for the display. From this settings menu, you have the ability to change CarPlay and Android Auto split screen position, as well as go full screen across the entire display. There are also settings to change camera recording resolution, set loop recording times, and the sensitivity of the G sensor, alter the lapse or parking recording lengths, and adjust data overlays on your recorded videos. The remaining settings control and toggles the display's functionality, from setting the language, changing the screensaver time, setting the time and date format, toggling Wi-Fi on and off, formatting the SD card, checking the software version and resetting the whole display to factory settings. Firing up wireless Apple CarPlay or Android Auto is very simple. You first select the option from the main menu and connect your device to the display's Bluetooth profile. It took around 10 seconds from Bluetooth pairing to the Apple CarPlay menu, and much longer at almost 45 seconds for Android Auto. However, this time does vary depending on how occupied your device is at the time and how quickly the display can detect your Bluetooth device. Interaction and responsiveness seemed okay, and the wide display allows up to 10 icons per screen on Apple CarPlay, unlike the usual 8 icons on much lower resolution portable displays. This also means that touch points, icons and buttons in CarPlay apps are a little bit smaller and more widely spaced apart. So if you're controlling the display from an arm's reach, you have to pay a little bit more attention to where you're pressing on the much smaller UI elements in CarPlay. I did a quick test of its built-in microphone, which sounds a little bit like this. Hi, it's Anthony from CarPlayLife.com, and this is an audio test using the CarPlayLife 4K dash camera and display max, and this is an audio test. Which sounds okay, but there is some noticeable hissing in the background. Over on Android Auto, the Media Max 2.0 uses the common full screen interface, which is a shame as the wider display format would have really made good use of its more modern split screen mode. And that's if it went into full screen better than it actually does. Because unfortunately, when you set this widescreen mode on Android Auto, this stretches the entire UI completely. So you are forced to use the left and right side viewing modes instead. If you have the rear or front camera set up, you can have the camera feeds displaying alongside CarPlay or Android Auto, which is quite nice if you want that screen set up. But for me, I prefer to use the full screen display mode. Passing audio through to your car system is done through either the 3.5mm or aux output ports on the power cable, or wirelessly using the FM transmitter option. You can choose to use the built-in speaker, but with its rather low performance, it's only really suitable for voice-based or navigation audio rather than music. At 100% volume, it also starts to struggle and distort. I found its FM transmission a little bit disappointing when compared to its competition. First of all, it takes forever to swipe to the required frequency as the scrolling is very, very slow. Second, the audio was mono instead of stereo, and there was noticeable interference noise in the background that I really tried to work around by selecting different frequencies, but I could never remove it. So because of this, along with sometimes its signal would drop or not be strong enough at times, I really wouldn't recommend this audio method. Trying out the auxiliary output port on its cable gave better results, but the audio was also in mono rather than stereo. Connecting the aux cable means there's far more cables to deal with in the car, and without the true stereo output, the only decent audio that was left was also very disappointing. As a dash camera, the Media Max 2.0 performed quite well. You can quickly access the camera feed from either the front or rear camera from the main menu. There are quick options to start and stop recording, save video events, and go back to the main menu. Selecting the replay submenu option will show all the recorded videos, photos, and saved emergency and parked event videos. On the left hand side, you have a very large window to view any selected videos directly on the display, so there's really no need to transfer files to a connected phone or remove the SD card and insert it in a desktop. Its 4K playback was clear, with good levels of contrast and a decent natural looking colours. Playing back the files outside the display, such as on a Mac, was a little bit challenging, with playback of the video not really being as smooth as when you view it on the display, whilst the audio on the display seemed to be about 1 second out of sync to the video. I had high hopes for the Media Max 2.0, but it sadly falls flat in many areas when it comes to actually using it for its intended purpose. The lack of stereo and quality audio connection was the big deal breaker for me. The camera quality is decent, and it's a nice solution to bundle both the dash cam and CarPlay display into one portable device. Its retail price is around $299, which matches most of its competition. However, with the added dash camera, the Media Max 2.0 does add some extra value to the whole package, and even more so with its included rear camera. But with its poor quality wireless performance and in its audio department, I can't entirely recommend the Max Media 2.0. However, there has been a new revision of this display with a 3.0 version already being shown at the end of last year on its social media accounts, which shows a revised menu system and FM toggles, as well as the camera at the back has been revised too. But at the time of this recording, its website is currently offline, so I would personally wait until it's back up and selling before considering to buy this display. Hopefully I can get my hands on the 3.0 version to see if any of these areas have been improved. But until then, you can check out all my other CarPlay display reviews in this playlist here. Give us a thumbs up if you found this video helpful, and comments are always welcome if you have any questions about the Max Media 2.0 display from CarPlayLife. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers. Bye.